They tried to silence him. They erased his name. But he rebuilt from nothing. He fought every algorithm. They tried again and failed. Now he's back, stronger. From blackout to spotlight, he's at the White House, at the top of his game. Franchi lives.
You are about to enter another dimension, the dimension of truth, unfiltered and uncensored. Welcome to the Raw Feed with Gary Franchi.
Welcome to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, coming to you live from the heart of America. Unfiltered truth to millions on YouTube. Hit those donation links below. Every contribution powers our gear. Every contribution keeps the party going. Help me help you. Hit those donation links. YouTube channel memberships. Special acknowledgement in the fellowship. Your super chats keep me standing. Your Rumble rants fuel every round.
Say hello to super chats.
Spread the intel. Every repost extends our reach.
Super chats fuel this spectacle. Your Rumble rants give me strength.
24/7 members-only community, behind-the-scenes discussions.
Connect with fellow patriots.
My mama always said, life is like sharing the truth. Text this stream to your friends. What if I told you the app is real? Download the Next News Network app. Android users, take the Google Play path. iPhone users, App Store awaits.
The corruption machine is breaking apart in real time, and tonight, you're going to see the receipts. Good evening, America. Welcome to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, your second favorite White House correspondent. Tom McCullagh is standing by in Washington, and we've got a loaded show for you tonight. What we're covering is the kind of news the mainstream media hopes you never see, so settle in because this broadcast is going to be one for the history books. Did you know that 252 years ago today, on December 16th, 1773. A group of American patriots had finally had enough. They gathered at the Old South Meeting House in Boston, waiting for word from the royal governor. And when that word came back, no compromise, no relief, no representation, Samuel Adams stood up and said, "This meeting can do nothing more to save the country." That was the signal. The Sons of Liberty stormed Griffin's Wharf and dumped 342 chests of British tea into the Boston harbor. They called it the Boston Tea Party. The Crown called it treason. History called it the spark that lit the American Revolution. So why does that matter tonight? Because what you're witnessing right now across this country is the same spirit rising again. Americans are done with rigged systems, done with corrupt institutions, done with a ruling class that thinks it operates above the law while everyone else suffers the consequences. The tea is hitting the harbor again, folks. And tonight we've got 5 stories that prove the old order is collapsing. Senator Chuck Grassley just dropped a bombshell. Newly released DOJ and FBI documents confirm the Mar-a-Lago raid was set up from the very beginning. The FBI's own Washington field office warned that there was no probable cause. They raided President Trump anyway. Merrick Garland personally approved it. This was a political hit job, and now the paper trail proves it. The Biden regime weaponized federal law enforcement against a political opponent, a former president, and now the evidence is public. In Milwaukee, a sitting judge is on federal trial right now for helping an illegal alien escape ICE agents inside her own courthouse. Judge Hannah Dugan directed the suspect out a side door. He was caught after a foot chase. Now she faces 6 years in federal prison. The court's already ruled she has no immunity. The Trump DOJ sent a message that is echoing through every single courtroom in America. Robes don't make you untouchable. Remember, no one's above the law. And the MAHA movement just delivered a knockout punch to the food and healthcare cartel. 18 states are now banning junk food purchases with SNAP benefits. South Carolina led the charge. Walmart is purging artificial dyes from every in-house brand. Red 40 is out. Vegetable juice is in. Meanwhile, Obamacare subsidies are dead. Speaker Johnson confirmed no vote to extend them. A family of 5 was quoted $1,700 a month. $1,700 with a $17,000 deductible. That's not health care. That's extortion. And the system is finally cracking under its own weight. And the cartel war has gone kinetic. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth ordered military strikes on narco-terrorist vessels in the Eastern Pacific. 8 dead traffickers gone. President Trump signed an executive order classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. And how did the House Democrats respond? They introduced a resolution demanding our military stand down against designated terrorist organizations. Think about that. We're going to break down exactly who's protecting the cartels and why. And finally, the economic comeback they swore was impossible, happening right now. November jobs crushed expectations. 64,000 added when experts predicted 50,000. Gas prices at 20-year lows adjusted for inflation. The deficit is down $600 billion. Wages are beating inflation for the first time in years. Factories are coming home. Investors are flooding in. The narratives are dead, and the numbers are alive. 252 years after the Boston Tea Party, Americans are standing up again. The spirit of 1773 is burning very bright tonight. So let's get into it and welcome you to the show. Rick Hall in the house, Sam Frederick, James Fay, Tara Eggers, Bless Mess. Sure, you in the house. Good to see you. Who was the first one to hit the chat room? Patricia Duff was the first one in the chat room. That's awesome. Pothead Kenny was third. Timothy was second place. Pothead Kenny, you got to be quicker on that button, man. You got to hit that as soon as that notification comes in, if you're lucky to get it. Boom. Oak Island's on tonight, says Pothead Kenny. I wonder what they won't find. Yeah, I got to get caught up. Let me guess, they're going to find more wood. But I got to say, some of those things that they are finding, some of those Roman coins, man, that's really, really bizarre. Like, super old Roman coins, like, why are they there? Who else is in the house? Two doggies. John White. Michael Jones. Chris C. Trump 2028. T-Duff. Hanging in AZ. Michigan in the house. What's up, Rob? Grease Monkey. I see you, sure you. I see you. Cindy in the house. Blessed Mess. Gen X MAGA. Jeremy Olson. Everybody is here. Any super chats to check real quick? Ho! Look at that. Right out the gate, James Fay dropping $2. Let's go. We're on our way to make some history tonight. All right, speaking of history, we got to make some history of our own. Tom McCullagh standing by at the White House. He's there today in the freezing temperatures. And I think he slipped on some ice while he was there. I just spoke with him. And he's limping back to his hotel room. Hopefully that hotel room is not on fire like it was last time. But y'all say a prayer, please, for Tom. I told him to put some ice on that ankle. Yeah. So, but let's get into it, shall we? Tick, tock. Tick. It's not starting. Oh. Well, what do you need to do to make it start, Brian? Brian is going to do some troubleshooting for a moment while we go back to the chat room. Oak Island is the only reason left to visit Canada. You know, I've been watching that show, like, literally. Really? None of your shortcuts are working. Well. Okay, so, guys, Brian, I'll just get up real quick. You don't got to put up the screen here. I will go check the keyboard. Brian thinks that something's on the keyboard, which I don't know how that could be, but I'm going to check. So let me just, if you don't mind, guys, I'm just going to get up real quick and check the keyboard, okay? Just got to unplug myself from the studio environment. See, I'm all plugged in. Now I can't hear Brian. Now you guys will get to see if I'm wearing any pants. Maybe I'll just kind of crawl out of here so you guys don't see that. See my butt crack. Nothing on the keyboard, Brian. Nothing on the keyboard. All right. Let me get plugged back in. I can't hear if you're talking to me, so. Yeah. Welcome back. All right. So, diaper in reflection. Ha ha ha. You guys are funny. Okay, Brian. What about now? Yeah, it looks like it's working. Was there something? I mean, you good now? Okay. I like the movie Super Volcano. What about Sharknado? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I've watched every Sharknado with my kids. They love that show. That's the best B movie. Actually, it's like a D movie. All right, let's go. What if I told you the same corporation selling you sugar-loaded poison were also billing you for the treatment? What if I told you the government approving chemical dyes in your food was the same government rationing your health care? Well, tonight something just broke wide open. 18 states moved simultaneously. The nation's largest retailer just caved. I'm talking Walmart. And the healthcare subsidy lifeline just got cut. The machine that made Americans sick for profit is cracking. What's coming next is going to change everything. Now, here's what's at stake, though. For decades, the American people have been caught in a trap. The food supply was engineered to make you sick. The healthcare system was designed to keep you dependent, and the welfare state subsidized the poison while billing you for the cure. One family with 5 kids earning $2,600 a month was just quoted $1,700 for the cheapest Obamacare plan available, with a $17,000 deductible. That's not insurance. That's financial destruction disguised as compassion. And Speaker Johnson just confirmed there will be no vote to extend those ACA subsidies. The scaffolding's gone. Meanwhile, Steve Scalise is calling out Democrats for shoveling billions into health insurance companies, more of them, instead of families. The system was not broken by accident. It was designed to fail upward, and now it's collapsing under its own weight. And as we wrap up 2025, it's a good time to slow down and reflect on the year. If there's one thing we've all learned, it's that uncertainty isn't temporary. It's the world we live in now. Waiting for things to go back to normal is not the plan. It's a gamble. For over a decade, my friends at Noble Gold Investments, they've helped Americans protect themselves and the people they love by diversifying their wealth with gold and silver. Look, nobody knows what 2026 will bring, but there is one thing that is for sure. In an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital, it's physical, and it's lasting, but it's yours. So when you're sitting around the table this holiday season, surrounded by family, remember the best gift you can give is not under the tree, it's peace of mind. And that's what Noble Gold delivers. Peace of mind, 1 ounce at a time. So before the year ends, take one smart step towards a safer future. Visit nextnewsgold.com. Get your free wealth protection kit today. That's nextnewsgold.com. Don't leave your future to chance. And if you want one of these beautiful silver coins, silver is skyrocketing right now, over $60 an ounce. You can get 10 of these if you qualify for one of their accounts. So check it out. Call the number 877-646-5347, and we thank them for sponsoring the show. But here's where it gets even bigger. We have Tom McCullagh standing by at the White House, and this is about SNAP junk food. The bans are spreading across 18 states. America's largest food retailer just read the writing on the wall. Walmart is purging artificial dyes from its in-house brands. Now, I know we covered this before. It was a big announcement. But this time, now we're talking about the implementation, the rollout, the infrastructure is there. And now the real change is going to happen. Did you know vegetable juice is in? That's what they're going to do. Red 40 is out. And by January 2027, all great value products will be free of synthetic dyes and 30% of additives. They admit that 90% are already dye-free. So the obvious question is the most damning one. If this was always possible, why were Americans ever fed the garbage in the first place? Well, the answer is simple. It's profit control and chemical dependency. And Walmart didn't move out of kindness, as they claim. They moved because the MAHA movement made it unavoidable. Now, we're going to go and check in with Tom, standing by at the White House with his report.
Hey guys, Tom McCullagh, White House correspondent for the Next News Network, and this story marks a real turning point for America. And for decades, Americans have been told that brightly colored, chemically loaded food was just normal. This was just the cost of modern life. Under the Trump administration, that mindset is being aggressively challenged. And this week, Walmart announced it will remove synthetic food dyes and more than 30 artificial ingredients from its store brand products by 2027. And let's be clear about why this is happening. It's not because of a new regulation buried in the Federal Registrar. It's because the Trump administration, alongside Health and Human Services Secretary Bobby Kennedy Jr., is pushing one clear message: that food should be food again.
So the nation's biggest retailer embracing the MAHA movement, Walmart, currently working on making its store brand food free of food dyes and 30 other ingredients. From Bentonville, Arkansas, the headquarters for Walmart, Fox Business' Kelly Saberi is looking at that. What'd you find out, Kelly?
Hi, Bill. Welcome to Walmart's Culinary Innovation Center. This new building is 23,000 square feet where food scientists, chefs, and people like you and me taste test these foods. Now, this is a massive undertaking as the nation's biggest grocer, and each of these products has its own unique challenges. Take candy, for example. Not only are they taking out the colors of the original product, but they're also working out both the taste and texture, which we know is equally as important. And it's one of their top-selling categories. So let's take the sour worms, for example. They have titanium dioxide in them, and now they'll take that out, which removes that pop of neon. New versions use things like spirulina and turmeric for the color, and if you can believe it, I think the new version actually tastes better than the original. So I asked, how will Walmart, such a big company present in 9 out of 10 homes, change the way Americans eat? They tell me their decisions are dictated by the consumer, not the other way around.
Customers are turning over.
Dictated by the consumer, he says. Yeah, really? Really? No. Because RFK Jr. told you what's up. That's why it's happening. Because the MAHA movement rose up and said, we're done with this. Demanded change. President Trump won the election. Appointed RFK Jr. Boom! Walmart bends the knee. That's why.
Over that package.
So don't sugarcoat this for me. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
That bag or looking digitally at those ingredients more than they ever have. More than half of the customers are actually very in tune and looking at those ingredient labels. And they wanted simplicity, they wanted transparency, and they wanted things they could pronounce and that they understood.
The part that I found most fascinating is the idea that they're aiming to keep their costs exactly the same. 70% of their portfolio is priced under $5. And all of this feels especially important as we round out the holidays this month. There are so many things that we need to entertain. And right now, 90% of their fleet of products already has this dye-free promise. Now, what's going to happen with the rest of the products? By January of 2027, Walmart says they will have this promise finished and ready for their consumers.
Oh, okay. All right. Changing times indeed. Thank you. Good to have you there. Thank you, Kelly. Walmart there in Arkansas. Thanks.
And RFK Jr. has been relentless. He's called out petroleum-based dyes, chemical additives, and lab-created additives that were never meant to be consumed daily, especially by children. His position is simple and unapologetic, that Americans should not be eating fake chemicals disguised as food. And under President Trump's second term, that philosophy is no longer fringe. It is a policy direction. Instead of protecting big food lobbyists, this administration is putting pressure where it belongs on transparency, truth, and accountability. RFK Jr. has made it clear that Americans deserve to know what they're eating, why it's there, and whether it belongs in the human body at all. I mean, pretty basic stuff that we all should think would be front of mind for all of them people. But Walmart's move is a direct response to the cultural shift. When the largest grocery retailer in the country starts reformulating products without raising prices, it signals something bigger is happening. The era of quietly poisoning the food supply is ending. And synthetic dyes like Red 40, Yellow 5, and Blue 1 have been banned or labeled with warnings in other countries for years. Yet in the United States, families were told not to worry about it. But that's changing now, not through mandates, but through leadership. And President Trump has repeatedly said that America must rebuild its strength from the inside out, and that includes health. A nation that eats chemicals cannot stay strong, and a nation that feeds children fake food cannot lead the world. And RFK Jr.'s message is resonating because it cuts through politics. This isn't left versus right. This is real food versus fake food. And Americans are paying attention. So Walmart says most shoppers now read ingredient labels, and that's not an accident. That's a result of sustained pressure from an administration willing to confront the industries that grew comfortable cutting corners. I mean, how much stuff have we eaten, guys? It's so scary. I mean, food should nourish, not harm. It should fuel families, not create lifelong health problems. And this is what leadership looks like. America is being told the truth again. Food should be food. And under President Trump and RFK Jr., America is finally moving back in that direction. Again, guys, Tom McCullagh reporting from the White House for the Next News Network. God bless.
God bless you, Tom. Thank you for that report. And with respect to RFK Jr.'s, another victory for the man. Big news for South Carolina. SNAP benefits can no longer be used to buy candy, soda, energy drinks, or other sugary beverages starting in 2026. Oh, there's going to be some pissed off fatties. The USDA approved waiver aims to promote healthier choices and tackle high obesity rates. Common sense move to make taxpayer dollars go towards real nutrition. Oh, and on the Obamacare front, yep, Obamacare is dying. A very slow and painful death for a lot of people. Some cases, literally. Speaker Johnson says there will not be a vote on extending the ACA subsidies. Remember that was one of the stipulations to get the government reopened? We need to have a talk about Obamacare subsidies. We need to get the extensions. Oh, okay, fine. We'll talk about it afterwards. Okay, we talked about it. Nah, we're not going to do it. But remember, we have another government shutdown looming next month. So this whole thing is going to happen all over again. Let's listen to the speaker.
For all of their...
Thank you, Mr. Leader. This morning, Congressman McCullagh said that it was political malpractice to not allow a vote on the ACA subsidy extension this week. What's your reaction to that? And will Republicans suffer any political blowback for not allowing something like that to come to the moderates?
Well, Mike Lawler is a very dear friend and a close colleague of mine. And ironically, weekend before last, I was in New York in his district on Long Island, and we were campaigning together, ensuring that he gets reelected. Mike Lawler fights hard for New York, as every Republican in this conference does for their districts. The districts are different. They have different priorities and ideas, but we do have, there's about a dozen members in the conference that are in these swing districts who are fighting hard to make sure that they reduce costs for all of their constituents. And many of them did want to vote on this Obamacare, COVID era subsidy the Democrats created. We looked for a way to try to allow for that pressure release valve, and it just was not to be. We worked on it all the way through the weekend, in fact, and in the end, there was not an agreement, wasn't made. Now, everybody was at the table in good faith, and I certainly appreciate the views and the opinions of every member of this conference. But I will tell you one thing they will all join in unity on is voting for this bill that we've been discussing this morning, because again, instead of just trying to assist 7% of Americans, this is for 100% of Americans, and we can handle that and do that together. I hope that Democrats will come along with us. If they're serious about solving the problem and bringing down cost of health care, they'll all fully support it as well. But I think you're going to see they're playing politics with this.
Of course they're going to play politics with it. That's what they do. Leverage, remember? Here, an American family, 5 kids. She makes $2,600 a month after taxes. The cheapest option she could get for health insurance from the Affordable Care Act marketplace, $1,700 a month, $17,000 deductible. Barack Obama destroyed our healthcare system, but I will add, he also destroyed our nation.
My husband recently lost his job, and he was the one that carried insurance. So we thought, since it's enrollment time, let's look at me carrying insurance, all right? We have the 2 of us, and we have our 5 kids, so it's going to be a family plan. Now, I make $2,600 a month after taxes. $2,600. And insurance was $1,100 a month. Now, I understand this is all pre-tax and stuff, so maybe I'll have $1,800 a month after they take out insurance, for our 5 kids. And you'd say, well, go on SNAP. Anyway, so I thought, you know what? Let's go look at the ACA options. Maybe there's some good ones out there. $1,600 a month for a $17,000 deductible. And they will only pay 50% after I meet that deductible. So I'm thinking we're just going to go die. My husband recently lost his job, and he was the one that carried insurance. So we thought...
That's what she just said, Jar Jar. She says she's just going to go and die instead. That is where Americans are. They are at the end of their rope. And they can't afford this Obamacare. It's supposed to be affordable. Affordable what? The Democrat solution to skyrocketing premiums, Steve Scalise writes, is to send more billions to insurance companies.
Or tomorrow. We've been working for a long time to lower premiums for all Americans, 100% of families across America. Democrats, as you know, have only been focused on trying to give big bailouts to insurance companies dealing with 7% of Americans. So big difference between the two sides. What we're going to be bringing to the House floor tomorrow, on the floor on Wednesday, is the Lower Premiums Act. This is a bill to lower health care premiums for all Americans. It's going to be focused on things like association health plans, the Choice Act, which is a way to use health savings accounts so that employers can work with their employees and give them better options for lower premium health care plans. We do what's called cost share reductions, and it's basically a term up here in Washington to lower premiums for everybody in Obamacare. We've been working for a long time to lower premiums for all Americans.
All Americans deserve it. And that's the conversation we need to have now. Call it Trump care. Let's just crush it and rebuild it. Let's just call it Trump care. That's my opinion. 18 states banning SNAP from being used on junk food. Another MAHA victory for Trump. 18 states, Caroline Leavitt writes, banning junk food. No more junk food in SNAP. 18 states. Everyone's talking about it. Hopefully, Walmart will become a trendsetter, one user writes, for other big box stores to follow suit on this MAHA movement. People grateful for what Walmart is taking the lead on. MAHA scoring a major win as America's biggest food retailer purges all artificial dyes. Walmart states that by January 2027, all products, including Great Value brand, will be free of dyes. Check out this guy.
And Walmart says, breaking news, Walmart just announced a huge change that will impact millions of families. By January 2027, the nation's largest retailer will remove all artificial food dyes and nearly 30 additives from its store brand products, including Great Value. That's more than 1,000 items going completely dye-free, and Walmart says 90% are already there. This move follows Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s MAHA initiative, which ordered the FDA to phase out dyes nationwide by 2027. Studies have linked synthetic dyes to health risks, including hyperactivity in children, sparking years of pressure from parents and advocates for cleaner food. For shoppers, it means snacks, drinks, and everyday foods at Walmart will soon be healthier and safer. Advocates are calling it a major public health win, and experts believe other grocery chains may soon follow Walmart's lead. By 2027, Walmart won't just be ready. They'll be leading the way toward a healthier future for American families.
Who else have we got here in the list? We have this guy, MAHA victory, countless food and drink items spotted fully free of artificial dyes.
It is. Check out what I just found at Walmart. Cherry Dr. Pepper has finally gotten rid of Red 40. It is completely artificial dye-free. These Nestle Toll House Santa's cookies are also artificial dye-free and are using vegetable juice for color. Nice. And right next to those, these peppermint cocoa cookies are also artificial dye-free, just in time for the holidays. Check out what I just found at Walmart.
Right. So this is the most important thing we can celebrate right now. We're going to make America healthy again. 3 pillars are falling at once: subsidized junk food, corporatized healthcare, and chemically engineered diets. When those collapse together, the entire profit architecture of sickness collapses with them. For decades, Americans were fed poison, billed for treatment, subsidized for dependency, and they were told it was freedom. Well, now the receipts are out. The states are revolting, the retailers are retreating, and the old system knows its time is running out. So what you just witnessed is not reform. This is exposure. The dam is cracked and the MAHA movement is advancing. 18 states are cutting junk food off the welfare pipeline. Walmart is stripping chemical dyes from shelves. Obamacare subsidies are dead. And a family of 5 just learned that $1,700 a month buys them nothing but a $17,000 wall between them and actual care.
You said people gonna die?
Yes, Jar Jar. This was never about health. It was about harvesting sick Americans for profit. The same machine that's selling sugar water was billing you for the insulin. The same government approving dyes was rationing treatment, and the same corporations profiting from illness were writing the rules. And now that pipeline is being severed. Bobby Kennedy and President Trump are forcing a systemic reset that the establishment swore would never happen. So here's my question for the chat. Should SNAP be permanently banned from covering junk food nationwide? Who do you think is going to be the most affected? Let's have a conversation. And don't forget to check out our merch shop, linked in the description. All right. Moving right along. Want to make a production note here. All right, moving right along. Let's see what's going on with Hannah Dugan. Oh, she's in some deep. All right. What's up, Rumble? I see you over there. What's up, Todd? Toad Liquor. Toad Liquor? I like how you spelled it. That's funny. That's actually funny. That's really clever. Real clever guy. All right. You may remember we covered this story months ago. I even asked President Trump about it directly. A sitting judge accused of helping an illegal alien evade ICE agents inside her own courthouse. Well, the trial has officially begun. Judge Hannah Dugan is in a federal courtroom in Milwaukee facing felony charges. Prosecutors say she directed the suspect out a side door. The feds caught him after a foot chase, and now she's looking at up to 6 years in prison. Our White House correspondent, Thomas McCullagh, has been tracking this case from Washington. He has the latest on the opening statements. But here's what's really on the line. For years, a certain class of officials believed they were untouchable. Judges, prosecutors, bureaucrats, they operated as if the rules applied to everyone except them. Sanctuary policies spread, federal agents were obstructed, and illegal aliens were shielded by the very people sworn to enforce the law. Judge Hannah Dugan, allegedly through her robes, made her immune. Well, she just found out she was very wrong. Federal courts already ruled months ago she does not enjoy immunity for these actions. That decision has now cleared the runway for prosecution, and it sent a message rippling through the courtrooms nationwide of all those rogue judges. Now she faces felony and misdemeanor charges up to 6 years in federal prison. The opening statements have begun. Prosecutors say she knew ICE agents were present, intervened anyway, and later admitted that she would take heat for what she did. Well, it looks like she's going to take some serious heat now. If she's convicted, the myth that certain officials are untouchable dies with her case. And some breaking news like this reminds me that accountability is finally returning to America. And speaking of taking control, let me tell you about something that is helping people take control of their health. Now, we've all seen the headlines about Ozempic and those so-called weight loss miracle shots. But here's what most people don't realize. People who stop taking those injections gain back nearly all their weight within a year, and that's why I'm excited about BioTrust GLP-1 Elevate. at trimwithgary.com. It helps your body naturally trigger hunger-controlling signals without needles, prescriptions, or scary side effects. It promotes fullness, reduces cravings, and supports fat loss. Right now, get 40% off at trimwithgary.com plus a 60-day guarantee. For every order, did you know BioTrust donates a meal to a hungry child? That's at trimwithgary.com. So the reaction to this trial has been explosive. Critics are demanding no leniency, arguing that anyone who obstructs ICE should face federal prosecution, period. Others are calling it an attack on judicial independence, but the government's position is crystal clear. Independence is not impunity. The law applies inside the courthouse, not just outside them. This trial is unfolding as the Trump administration tightens enforcement across the board. States are restoring boundaries. Federal agencies are reasserting authority that have been hollowed out for years. The era of selective enforcement, whether ideology determined, who had to follow the law, is being challenged in real time, under oath and with evidence. And now we go to Tom McCullagh with his report outside the White House moments ago.
Hey guys, Tom McCullagh reporting from the White House for the Next News Network. A sitting judge now appearing in federal court yesterday and again today, accused of actively helping an illegal alien evade ICE. Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan's trial is now underway, and the implications could reshape how the judiciary is held accountable. Critics say anybody who obstructs federal immigration enforcement must be prosecuted, and that means no leniency, no special treatment. And today, our own Gary Franchi put that question directly to President Trump. Check this out.
Mr. President, what's next for cleaning up the courts after Judge Dugan's arrest? What's next for cleaning up the courts after Judge Dugan's arrest?
Oh, it's terrible. What happened there is terrible. That could happen with a judge is so ashamed. And we have to bring our country back from all these criminals that Biden allowed to come in. These are world-class criminals and people that are insane, people from jails, murderers, drug addicts, drug dealers. And, you know, we have a country. We have to be proud of our country. We can't let these people stay. The courts are allowing them to stay. And we're just not going to allow it. So hopefully the Supreme Court will come to the rescue of our country. Thank you, Mr. President.
Our colleagues are close.
And that's exactly what the case is about. Watch this.
Today, a federal trial is set to begin for a Milwaukee judge accused of helping an illegal migrant evade ICE. Judge Hannah Dugan allegedly tried to distract agents by falsely telling officers they needed a judicial warrant as they were trying to arrest a Mexican national who was in this country illegally. She could face up to 6 years in prison if convicted.
So this isn't just another courtroom drama. This is a direct test of whether the rule of law still applies to the powerful. Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan has now spent 2 days in federal court accused of using the authority of her position to obstruct ICE agents attempting to carry out a lawful arrest inside of her own courthouse. And that wasn't outside. It wasn't after the fact. It was inside the same building that was sworn to uphold the law. And the most critical development so far is a federal judge has ruled that Dugan does not, again, I'm going to repeat, does not have immunity. That ruling clears the way for prosecution and sends a message that the bench does not place anybody above the law. Although a lot of these district judges think that they can do this. She's now facing felony charges and could serve up to 6 years in prison if she is convicted. And opening statements began yesterday. Proceedings continue today, and reporters from across the country are watching closely because this case strikes at a growing concern that some officials believe ideology gives them permission to ignore federal law. We all can't do that, can we? And supporters of immigration enforcement say that this trial draws a clear line. Obstructing ICE is not a political protest, it is criminal conduct. I think we all knew this. And that's why this matters far beyond Wisconsin. If a judge can secretly interfere with federal law enforcement from the bench, then the justice system itself becomes compromised. But if accountability is restored here, it signals something else, that equal justice under the law still means something inside of this nation. And President Trump made it clear today that courts cannot continue enabling chaos created by open border policies. And now, for the first time in years, that message is being tested in a courtroom. And this trial isn't just about one judge. It's about whether America still believes that nobody is above the law. At least that's how I grew up learning things, that everybody was equal under the justice. The trial does continue this week, and Next News Network will be tracking every major development. I want to know, will this case mark a turning point for judicial accountability, or will the system protect its own once again? You can better believe we're going to stay on it, guys. God bless. Hey guys, Tom McCullagh reporting from the White House for the next.
Thank you for that report, Tom. Violent Vixen 29 says, "Fryer ass." Federal trial of Judge Hannah Dugan begins on Monday.
Christina Van Zyl.
Thank you. Day one of the federal trial against Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan is starting tomorrow.
She's accused of helping an undocumented man evade federal agents at the county courthouse in April of this year. Christina Van Zyl is here with why tomorrow sets the tone for the rest of the trial. Christina?
Ted, Mary, tomorrow is when we'll hear from both sides what they intend to prove during the trial. It's the first time jurors will hear the evidence, and then the government will call its first witness.
I'm going to be interested to see how much outside noise is going to try and impact this particular case.
Day one of the federal trial against Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan starts Monday.
This is a high-profile case. There's a lot of eyes on this from a lot of different perspectives.
Dugan is accused of helping an undocumented man, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, evade immigration enforcement earlier this year, putting Milwaukee in the national spotlight of the debate over immigration.
What'll be interesting to see is if outside forces start impacting what's happening inside the courtroom, and whether outside players, major players, the FBI, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, even the president himself, whether they start making comments about this case, and whether that is going to change strategy while the case is going on.
Criminal defense attorney Julius Kim says Monday's opening statements will be telling in terms of what the government and defense will bring up during the course of the trial. Kim also says it's the jury's first impression of the attorneys and their case. 9 men and 5 women make up the jury. 2 of those are alternates. Kim thinks it's a diverse mix.
The counties, just geographically, politically, socioeconomically, are so different throughout all of these counties. I think the jury's going to be made up of a diverse group of people.
Kim says the evidence is pretty straightforward. Attorneys say that they do hope to have the case to a jury by Friday the 19th. Reporting live in the newsroom, Christina Van Zyl, Fox 6 News.
All right, Christina, thank you.
Milwaukee, the day of reckoning is upon us. We have more from that.
Friday at the Milwaukee County. Get out. Those are the words, according to government prosecutors, that Judge Hannah Dugan said to federal agents back on April 18th, Good Friday, at the Milwaukee County Courthouse. Dugan is on trial here at the federal courthouse, charged with knowingly hiding a person and helping a person evade authorities, even though that person in question, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, was captured just outside the courthouse on that very day. In their opening statement, the defense team, led by Stephen Biskupic, who used to be a federal prosecutor, said there was anger, confusion, and paranoia over a lack of policy on how judges in Milwaukee County should handle ICE agents in the courthouse and in their courtroom. Both sides laying out where this trial will go over the next 5 days. The first witnesses have begun.
Oh, this is going to be fun to watch, man. It's happening all in the Christmas season. She thought the spirit of giving meant giving freedom to an illegal. Well, she's going to learn something very different. Looks like we have some more from outside the courthouse.
To trial today for daring to defend the most basic right of immigrants, the right to due process.
Sure.
What we are witnessing today is an effort by this administration to intimidate other judges.
Did you hear that?
Judge Dugan is on trial today for daring to defend the most basic right of immigrants, the right to due process.
The right to due process. They didn't have the right to due process? Well, they were in a court, and that's where due process occurs. Do you see the irony here? A court is designed specifically for that, and that's why that illegal was in there. But ICE showed up anyway, and the judge denied that illegal due process.
What we are witnessing today is an effort by this administration to intimidate other judges. This is selective justice, and we will not stand for it. We know that the federal power is already being used to intimidate others. not just judges, but public servants, community leaders who are not bowing to the abuse of this administration. This is not about public safety. This is not about the rule of law. And yet, we know that no matter how much they try to threaten us, Wisconsin and across this country is not remaining silent. We are resisting and we are speaking out. Yeah. Judge Dugan is on trial today for daring to defend the most basic.
I love the irony in this. Oh, yeah. Dude, it's all over. Let's see. Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Oh, this is what is this? Federal judge cannot evade ICE. Okay, let's see.
They're there to detain a case. He meets his attorney in the hallway and walks towards Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan's courtroom. Along the way, he passes plainclothes federal agents who are sitting on a bench. They are there to detain him. After Flores Ruiz walks by, the agents turn to each other and appear to confirm his identity amongst themselves. But a few moments later, Judge Dugan and another judge approach the agents sitting on the bench. A criminal complaint against Dugan later said she was alerted to their presence by a court official. That complaint says during this interaction, Dugan and the agents disagreed over the type of warrant they had to arrest Flores Ruiz. According to the complaint, Dugan ordered the agents to go to the chief judge's office. Video shows her pointing them through a double door. She then turns back to speak with other agents further down the hall and orders them through the doors as well. Shortly after that, with the agents gone from the hallway, Eduardo Flores Ruiz and his attorney exit into the hallway through a different door. As they walk down the hall toward the elevators, they pass another plainclothes federal agent. Neither they nor Judge Dugan seem to have noticed at the time. That agent motions to another to follow Flores Ruiz. Security video shows Flores Ruiz exiting through a basement exit. Upstairs on the 6th floor, the other agents have left the chief judge's office and worked their way downstairs. Flores Ruiz left the building onto 9th Street. Videos of the street shows the agents catching up to him. Flores Ruiz runs across 10th Street while trying to get away, but the agents catch him and arrest him. He meets his attorney in the hallway and walks towards Circuit Court Judge.
Unbelievable what that judge did. This is Judge Dugan right there on your screen. The first day of the trial has begun. Oh, yeah. Wisconsin judge is attempting to prosecute. Trump administration is attempting to prosecute for obstructing arrest for a non-citizen, says Joyce Adams. All the background you need to understand. Follow my Substack. Nah, we kind of get where your Substack's going with this one. I mean, you've already given yourself away. Non-citizen. Well, that party's over. But here's the reality looming over every witness and every motion in that Milwaukee courtroom. If a judge can be prosecuted for obstructing federal law enforcement, then the myth of untouchable offices is dead. The judicial shield has shattered. The defendant isn't some anonymous bureaucrat. She's a sitting judge who allegedly used her authority to help a criminal evade arrest, and now the system is finally turning inward and demanding accountability from its own. You see, the case is about something much bigger than a judge in Wisconsin. It's about whether the law governs those who wield it. For too long, a protected class believed the rules didn't apply to them. Sanctuary cities spread, federal agents were blocked, illegal aliens were shielded by officials who swore oaths they never intended to keep. Judge Hannah Dugan, allegedly, through her position, made her untouchable. She allegedly helped a man evade ICE and admitted she'd take the heat for it. Well, my friends, the heat has arrived, and now she's sitting in a federal courtroom facing felony charges and up to 6 years behind bars. The Trump DOJ drew a red line. It said, no one's above the law. Not politicians, not bureaucrats, and certainly not activist judges who think their robes grant them amnesty. The trial has begun, the shield is gone, and the entire nation is watching. So here's my question. Should judges who obstruct ICE face mandatory prison time? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat, and grab some gear from our merch shop. You'll find it linked down below. Hey! What's up, Super Chatters? What's up, Super Chatters? Chris Orr. $15. What's up? Thank you, Jody Lodolce. Chris says, Merry Christmas. Jody says, if Republicans want to win the next voting cycle, America needs to start seeing the arrests of those thinking they were above the law. Free Tina Peters. Great work, Gary and N3 team. Yes, free Tina Peters. I am in 100% agreement with you, Jody. We need to see the perp walks. And this judge is a good first step. We still need to see Letitia James and Comey. All of them. They all need to do the walk of shame. But of course, they're deep state rats, and deep state rats are heavily protected by their own. Republic Mike, $5. What's he got to say? What's the difference between Iron Man and Iron Woman? One's a superhero, the other's a command. Dude, that's a good one. That's a good one. All right, moving right along into our next topic. Where are we at with Super Chats, by the way? Where are we now? What's the total? $31.99. Did I hear a niner? All right, we're going to our Mar-a-Lago raid. Yep, new information is out. Buckle up, folks. This changes everything. Everything. What if I told you the FBI knew they had no legal basis to raid a former president's home, but they did it anyway? What if I told you they were actually warned internally and the response from above was to push forward regardless? Well, tonight, that's not speculation. It's documented. Senator Chuck Grassley has now released a bombshell. DOJ and FBI records that confirm what millions of Americans suspected from day one. From the moment we saw those CNN cameras, the Mar-a-Lago raid was not law enforcement. It was a clear political hit job. Our White House correspondent Thomas McCullagh is standing by with the latest from the White House. We're going to get to Tom in a minute, but here's what's at stake. If federal law enforcement can be weaponized against a political opponent without probable cause, without legal justification, then no American is safe. You see, this is not just about Donald Trump. This is about whether the Constitution still actually means anything. And according to these new released documents, the FBI's own Washington field office explicitly warned prosecutors they had not met the legal standard for a search warrant. Think about that. They didn't even meet the legal standard. They didn't have any probable cause. They didn't have any justification. And yet the raid happened anyway. Oh, man. If you're not angry, I don't know what's wrong with you. Apparently, one official said he didn't give a damn about the optics. Merrick Garland personally approved it. And then what happened? Armed agents stormed Mar-a-Lago. They raided Melania's drawers, went through Barron's personal effects, and the media ran wall-to-wall coverage. Global headlines declared Trump is a criminal. It was all based on a warrant the FBI's own people said was not justified. This was not a mistake. This was regime enforcement disguised as law enforcement, and now the evidence is officially public. Now, before we get to Tom, we have some breaking news for your family's preparedness this Christmas. My Patriot Supply just launched their Buy One Gift Two Christmas special, and you're going to want to jump on this all month long. When you buy one emergency food kit, you get 2 more absolutely free. So grab your 4-week supply for yourself, and they'll include 2 one-week kits perfect for gifting to anyone on your list who values being prepared. These days, it just makes sense to have emergency food stored away. And with this deal, you are going to get yourself ready and give meaningful Christmas gifts to friends or family completely free. So head to preparewithgary.com right now. Grab yours today. The offer is only available for the holiday season, so do not wait. That's preparewithgary.com. Get prepared and give the gift of security. Now, we're going to get to Tom's report. He's outside the White House right now, but the documents reveal even more. Multiple sources confirm the FBI communicated its concerns clearly to the Justice Department, stating the evidence did not support the search. The Biden DOJ overrode those warnings and moved forward anyway. That means the raid, the armed agents, the media spectacle, the global headlines was not evidence leading to action. It was action taken in search of evidence. A fishing expedition, a deliberate violation of constitutional standards, and it goes even higher because Attorney General Merrick Garland personally approved it. Critical documents tied to other politically sensitive investigations were seized and buried in the process. The pattern is unmistakable. Let's go to Tom McCullagh outside the White House.
With those memos set to be turned over to Congress, the entire... Guys, Tom McCullagh reporting from the White House for the Next News Network. And we have explosive new revelations involving Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel, who are now preparing to hand over internal FBI memos to Congress. Those documents reportedly show FBI officials warned the Biden Justice Department that they did not have probable cause to raid President Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago, yet prosecutors moved forward anyways. Shocking. That revelation is now sending shockwaves through Washington, and earlier today, Just the News editor-in-chief John Solomon laid out exactly what those memos reveal. Check this out.
Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel are set to hand over explosive memos to Congress. The memos show that under Joe Biden's watch, FBI officials warned the DOJ they did not have probable cause to raid President Trump's home. But prosecutors moved forward anyhow. Joining us now with a reaction to this big story is the editor-in-chief for Just the News, John Solomon. John, good morning. You are writing about it exclusively at justthenews.com. Tell us more, sir.
Yeah, well, listen, Jack Smith is slated to appear for a closed-door deposition tomorrow. He's going to face a lot of tough questions if he shows up. And I think there's a big question about whether he'll show up. We'll find that out tomorrow. Because the prosecution he inherited in November 2022 previously had raided President Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago. And it turns out now the Washington field office had warned the Justice Department they did not believe that they had met the standard for a search warrant, meaning they didn't have probable cause. They didn't have any witnesses. They didn't have any proof that Donald Trump was hiding classified documents there. And therefore, they believed that the raid shouldn't go forward. But the Biden DOJ, they did go forward. And then Jack Smith came in and he went forward with criminal charges, which ultimately got dismissed. But this is the latest example of weaponization in a dual system of justice. Remember how they dealt with Joe Biden's classified documents in a friendly manner. Hey, can we just come over and collect them from you? No subpoenas, no raids, no ruffling through the underwear drawers and lockers. Here, Donald Trump was treated differently. And now we find out when these documents are to be made public, I think in the next hour or two, we're told, there may not have been a legal standard to do that raid. That could give the president of the United States cause to sue the Justice Department for the violation of his Fourth Amendment rights.
Wow.
That would be interesting.
He's suing his own Justice Department.
Right. And that's exactly what I was thinking of. My mind was like, that would be interesting. Would he actually sue his own justice? I mean, it's a possibility. Do you foresee that potentially happening? I'm not so sure that's ever happened. The sitting president suing his own Justice Department. Let's go there. I'm going to follow you down that road, John.
Oh, yeah, it's a rabbit hole worth jumping into. I do think there's a good, strong chance that the president will sue the Justice Department like he has sued other prosecutors, claiming that he was a victim of an unfair miscarriage of justice. And so just like he sued the BBC yesterday and the New York Times before that and others before that, the president intends to litigate in the courts the damages that he believes were done to him in his political career and the people around him. The Jack Smith investigation, the Arctic Frost investigation, which goes towards January 6th, and the classified documents case that goes towards the raid on Mar-a-Lago, both on the front burner now in Congress. We have Senator Chuck Grassley and Ron Johnson investigating both investigations and possible misconduct there. And tomorrow it'll be Jim Jordan interrogating Jack Smith, turning the tables on Jack Smith. He's now the witness, not the prosecutor.
And what you just heard is extraordinary and potentially historic. According to John Solomon's reporting, internal FBI officials warned the Department of Justice that they lack probable cause to raid President Trump's home. No witnesses, no proof, and no evidence that classified documents were being concealed. And yet, under Joe Biden's watch, the raid went forward anyways. Is anybody surprised? But that decision ultimately led to criminal charges brought by special counsel Jack Smith, charges that were later dismissed. But now with those memos set to be turned over to Congress, the entire foundation of that raid is under scrutiny. And the implications for that? They're enormous. If federal investigators knowingly proceeded without meeting the legal standards for a search warrant, that raises serious Fourth Amendment concerns. It also strengthens claims that President Trump was subject to a dual system of justice, one set rules for Trump and another one for the Joe Biden administration. I want you guys to remember and think back a little. When classified documents were discovered in Biden's possession, there wasn't any raids, there wasn't any subpoenas, no armed agents, just polite requests. And now Congress, they're digging deeper. Senators Chuck Grassley and Ron Johnson are investigating both the Mar-a-Lago raid and the January 6 related Arctic frost investigation. And tomorrow, House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan is scheduled to question Jack Smith behind closed doors, turning the tables finally. And for the first time, Jack Smith isn't the prosecutor, folks. He is the witness. Hopefully something good comes of that. And as Solomon suggested, there's another possibility now on the table, that President Trump could sue his own Justice Department over what could be argued as a politically motivated violation of his constitutional rights. And that would be unprecedented, but so were the actions that led us here. And what's unfolding now is not just about one raid or one investigation. It's about whether federal law enforcement was weaponized against a political opponent and whether accountability is finally coming. And the memos are expected to be released to Congress imminently, and the fallout could be swift. We will be covering those. And if those documents confirm that the FBI's warnings were ignored, it may mark a turning point in Washington's reckoning with lawfare, political prosecutions, and unequal justice. And you can guarantee that the Next News Network will continue following the story closely as testimony begins and documents are made public. Reporting from the White House, Tom McCullagh, Next News.
Well done. Well done, Tom, yet again at the White House. Here's the documents. 2 months before the Mar-a-Lago raid, Ray's FBI retroactively and secretly reclassified Crossfire hurricane documents that President Trump declassified last week in his first term. Then they hid the documents they thought forever. They didn't expect that President Trump would come back. Then Jack Smith charged President Trump under the Espionage Act, accusing him of keeping and distributing classified documents endangering national security. The stamp on the documents, top right, left corner, classified until 2091, effectively forever, on May 25th, 2022, 2 months before the raid. On the left, exactly the same document, not classified. Document describes FBI agent Stephen Soma meeting with FBI informant and CIA operative Stephen Halper, who lied that General Flynn and I had an affair and that I was a Russian spy. Who is this? Oh, this is Svetlana Lokala, who's posting this. Wow. This was done to start the Crossfire hurricane investigation of Donald Trump's advisor, General Flynn. Why they raided Mar-a-Lago, Brendan's CIA, and Comey's FBI, this is Svetlana again, ran anti-Trump ops from the UK via Stephen Halper and Chris Steele. Gina Haspel was head of the CIA station in London. Anna Kohler was the FBI liaison. In 2016, to stop Donald Trump, the false story was fabricated in London by intel operatives Halper and Steele that I had an affair with General Flynn and that I was a Russian spy. This was used to investigate the Trump campaign and later the Trump administration, leading to the appointment of Mueller. Let's go to Grassley. Received the shocking new documents today from the DOJ and FBI showing the FBI did not believe it had probable cause to raid President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home, but Biden DOJ did it anyway. Holy cow, dude. This is absolutely bombshell. Here it is. Wow. As everyone is trafficking, WFO does not believe and has articulated to DOJ CES that we have established probable cause for the search warrant for classified records at Mar-a-Lago. DOJ has opined they do not have probable cause. Can you see that? Right there. They do not have probable cause. We have not established probable cause. Holy cow. This is the smoking gun, man. This is the smoking gun if I've ever seen one. Holy cow. What a day to be alive. Here's more from Real America's Voice. FBI memo shows no probable cause to raid Trump.
Under Joe Biden, Bates. All right, Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel are set to hand over explosive memos to Congress. The memos show that under Joe Biden's watch, FBI officials warned the DOJ they did not have probable cause to raid President Trump's home. But prosecutors moved forward anyhow. Joining us now with a reaction to this big story is the editor-in-chief for Just the News, John Solomon. John, good morning. You are writing about it exclusively at justthenews.com. Tell us more, sir.
Yeah, well, listen, Jack Smith is slated to appear for a closed-door deposition tomorrow. He's going to face a lot of tough questions if he shows up. And I think there's a big question about whether he'll show up. We'll find that out tomorrow. Because the prosecution he inherited in November 2022 previously had raided President Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago. And it turns out now the Washington field office had warned the Justice Department they did not believe that they had met the standard for a search warrant, meaning they didn't have probable cause. They didn't have any witnesses. They didn't have any proof that Donald Trump was hiding classified documents there. And therefore, they believe that the raid shouldn't go forward. But the Biden DOJ, they did go forward. And then Jack Smith came in and he went forward with criminal charges, which ultimately got dismissed. But this is the latest example of
weaponization. John Solomon with Steve Bannon. But here is Alex posting this. The new documents reveal the FBI did not believe it had probable cause. Here's the Fox News headline. FBI doubted probable cause for Mar-a-Lago raid, but pushed forward amid pressure from Biden DOJ. Good God. Here's more from John Solomon with Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon's reaction.
Oh, this is a blockbuster. You're telling me there actually exist communications between people that showed that they didn't have probable cause, which, remember, back in August that year, there was I think it was 21, there was this whole firestorm about this. And they went on TV every night and said that. You're saying they not only they had a discussion behind it, they actually went out and lied about it in media every single day on MSNBC and in the New York Times.
Well, here's the real question. We're going to have to find out what they represented to the judge to get that search warrant signed, because the FBI, the Washington field office of the FBI, which, by the way, was no fan of Donald Trump's. They were behind January 6th. They were behind Russia collusion. They were telling the Biden Justice Department there was not a probable cause to raid Mar-a-Lago. That is a significant. These are emails and memos from inside the Washington field office of the FBI, an anti-Trump field office. That is a really significant memo. We haven't seen the documents yet. We know what they generally say, but we're going to see. They're going to get turned over to Grassley in Jordan today, and then Jack Smith's on the Hill tomorrow for a deposition. If he shows up, I'm sure he's going to be confronted by these documents.
Are you implying that Merrick Garland then made the decision against facts that they didn't have probable cause? This all the way up to Merrick Garland, sir?
Well, we don't know who approved the search warrant request, so those are important things. We got to get those documents unmasked in the court. But now we're getting a sense of it. I think the package that comes out today will give us new characters, new players, and new opportunities to get to the bottom of this. But this potentially is prosecutable. It could be a disbarable offense if you lied as a lawyer. And, of course, it gives President Trump a tort that could be pretty significant on the civil side.
This is a blockbuster. You're telling me.
Oh, my goodness. I remember when I was reporting on that moment. Breaking news. Catching the live video coverage of that Mar-a-Lago raid. I'll never forget it. They're raiding Mar-a-Lago. It was the most obscene thing we'd ever seen here in our 20 years of doing news. Never seen anything like it, ever. And now we know It was much worse. We knew it was all politically motivated, but now we have the smoking gun, and we know it was much worse than we could have ever imagined. You see, the Mar-a-Lago raid is no longer defensible as a mistake or misjudgment. By the FBI's own internal assessment, it was a miscarriage of justice. Senator Grassley said it plainly. Based on the records, the raid was a miscarriage of justice. When federal agencies knowingly proceed without probable cause, especially against a former president, a political opponent, that crosses the line into criminal abuse of power. The documents are public. Here it is. There's the documents. The timeline, crystal clear. The intent, undeniable. It was never about classified documents. It was about stopping Donald Trump by any means necessary. And when they couldn't stop him with that, what did they do? They met him in Butler. And God had other plans. So let this all sink in. The FBI's own Washington field office warned there was no probable cause to raid a former president's home. They were overruled. The raid happened anyway. Merrick Garland personally signed off on it, and now thanks to Senator Chuck Grassley, the American people can read the receipts for themselves. This was not law enforcement. This was the weaponization of federal power against a former president and political opponent. From Russiagate to impeachment to lawfare indictments, the same pattern repeats. Use the appearance of law to destroy your opposition. What's different now is that the paper trail's catching up to the perpetrators, and the walls are closing in. The narrative that this was by the book has completely collapsed. And now, the question of accountability. Who ordered it? Who overruled the warnings? And who believed they would never be exposed? Whoever they were wrong. So here's my question for the comments. Should Merrick Garland face criminal charges for authorizing this raid? Yes or no? Sound off. And check out our merch shop linked in the description. Damn. That was wild. Perp walk. Perp walk them all. All right, no super chats to speak of. We're hanging at $31.99, $31.99.
How dare you?
Where are we? We're going into our next. Oh yeah, we gotta check out what's going on with these boats that keep exploding. People getting triggered down there. Oh my God. Oh my God.
You said people gonna die?
Yeah, terrorists are gonna die. Jar Jar. All right. Jar Jar. Just you chill out, okay? Hey, Gen Xer dropping $10. What up? Gen Xer dropping $10. Thank you. All these distractions while implanting illegals and taking our money. Yeah. Think about what was happening in parallel with all that. Good Lord. Think about, just the scope of what happened during the administration. Joe Biden's asleep at the wheel. Auto pen signing everything. Holy cow, man. You think about just the sheer magnitude of the criminality of the last administration. Oh, it boggles the mind when you think about it. Thank God Almighty, President Trump won that election. Thank God he turned his head in Butler at just the right moment. Whew. Just pray for the perp walks. We folks, remember this. The next election is coming up. If we lose the House, we lose the presidency. That's what's at stake here. We lose the republic. That's what's at stake here. So, whatever you do, Don't sit out the midterms. I know it's easy to do it. Whatever. We got the House, we got the executive, we got the Senate, whatever. Right. No. This is the time to step up. This is the time to go to battle for the Republic, because it's all riding on the midterms. You know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen when those midterms come around. If we lose, it's going to be impeachments all day long. Committee hearings, dragging Homan into the committee, dragging Stephen Miller into the committees. It's going to be a horrific nightmare. Because if you think what they've already done to stop Trump, imagine if they gain control of the House or the Senate once again. They will have the ultimate roadblock and the ultimate cudgel to destroy him. So do whatever you can to support the midterm elections, to get out there and make it happen. We need to win. Not just for President Trump, but for the Republic itself. I cannot stress this enough. Okay. Speaking about stress, those cartel bosses are stressing right now. Let's go, Brian. The United States military just killed 8 narco-terrorists in the Eastern Pacific. Not arrested, killed. Lethal kinetic strikes ordered directly by the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, on vessels confirmed to be trafficking drugs along known cartel routes. And while the smoke was clearing, President Trump signed an executive order that changes everything. Fentanyl is now officially classified as a weapon of mass destruction. The cartels just found out America's done playing defense, but here's the part that should make your blood boil. Wait until you hear about how the Democrats responded, because here's what's at stake. You see, fentanyl's killed more Americans than most wars. It's poisoned communities from coast to coast. And for years, the border was wide open while the cartels operated with near impunity. Well, that era clearly is over. On December 15th, Joint Task Force Southern Spear conducted strikes on 3 cartel vessels in international waters. 8 narco-terrorists eliminated, 3 in the first vessel, 2 in the second, 3 in the third. This is Operation Southern Spear, and it is not a drill, folks. More than 25,000 service members have deployed in this historic operation. Border crossings have plummeted to the lowest level since 1970. Over 2.5 million illegal aliens have been removed. For 7 straight months, 0 have been released into the interior. Border czar Tom Homan, what did he say? He said, with a secure border, lives are being saved every single day. Sex trafficking has collapsed. Fentanyl flows plummeting. This is what enforcement looks like. But we got some breaking news for your gut health this holiday season. Between the office parties, the family gatherings, and the rich holiday foods, your digestive system is taking a beating. That's why I want to tell you about Good Brew. I take it every single morning. It's the only probiotic that survives in your hot morning coffee. The co-founder nearly called 911 when severe acid reflux caused food to lodge in his throat. Doctors wanted him on dangerous antacids for life. Instead, he discovered this probiotic works in coffee, and within a week, his acid reflux was gone. So every holiday party, know this, it bombs your gut with sugar and booze. But every morning, you can fight back with just one little scoop. Delivers 1 billion CFUs of beneficial bacteria plus organic fiber. The website, goodbrew.com. Get your free travel size plus 10% off with code NEXTNEWS. That's GOODBRU.com. Now, let's talk about where it gets really infuriating. Well, American forces are taking out narco-terrorists. House Democrats introduced a resolution Are you ready for this? Demanding the military stand down against designated terrorist organizations. I'm going to say that again. While families bury loved ones poisoned by fentanyl, Democrats are filing paperwork to protect their supply chain. Senator Mark Kelly, remember, one of the seditious six, openly complained that killing these traffickers doesn't make America safer because they're only moving cocaine instead of fentanyl. How can you, what? Oh, it's just cocaine. Don't worry about it. It's just cocaine. Seriously, dude? That's a sitting senator. Don't worry about the cocaine, guys. Mexico, though, they're furious about the WMD classification because it destroys their diplomatic friction. That this is just a crime instead of warfare. Representative Tim Burchett confirmed the strikes are 100% legal. Senator Tim Sheehy backed it up. Legal authority has existed for decades. You see, this is not rogue action. It's long dormant power that's finally being used. Here's Senator John Kennedy torching the Democrats for opposing Trump's narco strikes. Senator Kennedy, always the colorful one.
Are in good faith dictatorships. They're criminal enterprises. I agree with him. I think the White House does have a plan here. I don't think they're ready to share it yet with Congress. I think some of the people who are criticizing the president are in good faith, but a lot of them are just, I don't know, they're just masterclass dumb. I mean, what the president is doing is perfectly legal. Whether you agree with it or not's another thing, but it's perfectly illegal under the Constitution. And a lot of the people criticizing him, well, if you wanted to hide something from them, you just put it in a law book, especially the chapter on the Constitution.
Yeah. I mean, we all have seen
dictatorships. They're criminal enterprises. I agree with him. I think the White House does have a plan here. I don't think they're ready to share it yet.
Oh, and when they do, we'll be the first to report it. Democrat Virginia Senator Tim Kaine calls narco terrorists who are smuggling illegal drugs into the U.S. struggling survivors.
Fully explain. I'd like to share with you my concerns about the individuals who've been killed, but I can't for the same reason. I'd like to share with you my concerns about the second strike that killed struggling survivors clinging to the shipwreck on September 2. But I can't fully explain why this is so outrageous, because most of what I know from a classified setting. Unlike Senator Schumer, I've not seen the video yet. I'd like to share with you my concerns about
the struggling survivors. Here's Senator Warner on the Venezuela briefing 7 hours ago.
Ask my question, but because the presentation was so long and the briefing was fairly short, I didn't get a chance to ask my question, but nothing has changed. I received no new information. It feels like, particularly in terms of the video, they're going to allow SAS to see it. I think they're trying to run out the clock in terms of holding off giving it to the rest of the senators, so the Senate doesn't see it before we break for the holidays. I also find it more than disturbing that the requests I've made, and others, in a bipartisan way, execution order, or the after action report, from the legal opinion that was around this specific strike on September 2nd, and for that matter, whether the overall arching policy document was changed between September 2nd and it was actually written on September 5th. I got none of those answers. And as somebody who has cautioned my colleagues about making accusations, because once you make some of these accusations, you can't get them back. It's been more than frustrating to think that the documentation that might lend to their case, why they're not willing to give it to us. I do believe that General Kaine, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, would like to share that. I think the person, again, who, whether it's the video or sharing the documentation, pulling this back is Pete Hegseth. That because the presentation was so long and
Let's keep going. House Democrats introduced a resolution to force the U.S. military to stand down against a designated terrorist organization. Oh, my goodness. If you need any more clarification on whose side they're on, look no further. Democrats are siding with the terrorists. Yeah, it would be funny if it wasn't so true. The concurrent resolution, HCON Res 61, introduced. Tim Burchett has been briefed by Rubio and Hegseth, confirmed the strikes are legit and legal.
Rubio. Hey, everybody. Tim Burchett just leaving the briefing with Secretary Hegseth and Secretary Rubio and military leaders about the legality of these strikes on these drug dealers that are pumping poison into our streets. I was glad to hear it. It's actually a three-tier system. Can't go into all the details, but every step of the way there's lawyers making sure that what they're doing is legal. What the press isn't reporting is that there's several of these have just been interdictions where they just seized the boats and the drugs and nobody got killed because one of those three areas was did not fulfill that, so they just had to stop them. And guess what? Every one of them, they were carrying drugs, but they couldn't prove that they were part of a terrorist organization or otherwise. So I'm very pleased. Oddly enough, I think they've killed it's less than 100 drug dealers or pushers or whatever you want to call them. In that, it's about averages. It seems like about a little over 3 people per strike, and in that time, I just can't imagine the thousands of people that have lost their lives or had to get Narcan and go back. But anyway, thank y'all for sitting here. Hey, everybody. Tim Burchett just leaving the...
I like Tim Burchett. I like that guy. He's a straight talker, man. Tim Sheehy just destroyed the radical Democrats who were trying to prevent Trump from stopping harmful drugs pouring into the United States. The process we have is legally sound. Been supported by legal opinions for a quarter century.
And to go after brave men and women in uniform who are conducting these attacks is to indict the very system that was used bipartisanly for the last 24 years. I personally was involved in many of these operations, from kinetic strikes to direct action operations. And the process we have is legally sound. It's been supported by legal opinions for a quarter century now of how we find these people, we fix them, and we finish them. And keep in mind, if we don't drop a bomb and we decide to interdict, as is being said by many folks, we have an obligation to send a team to interdict. But when we make that decision, you're putting our lives at risk. You're putting Americans' lives at risk. Just about a year and a half ago, you remember 2 SEALs were killed interdicting a vessel at night in the Red Sea. Interdicting a vessel underway is perhaps the most dangerous mission we have in our entire military inventory. When we task our commandos to go out and attack a vessel underway, that's an incredibly high-risk mission. So when folks say, well, we should be interdicting, that's easy for you to say here in this building between 2 cups of cappuccinos. It's a lot harder to send that 24-year-old operator out there who's got a wife and kids and tell him in the middle of the night you got to fast drop out of a helicopter, scuba dive under a ship, climb up the side of that, and fight your way onto a vessel, because we're more worried about the lives of drug dealers than we are our own people. And that's a high-risk mission to go after brave men and women. And
let's take a look. Here's President Trump. Let's see where he's talking about. Where is he here? In the Oval Office. Here's the fentanyl declaration.
Deadly fentanyl. Today I'm taking one more step to protect Americans from the scourge of deadly fentanyl flooding into our country. With this historic executive order I will sign today, we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction.
Let's go.
Which is what it is. No bomb does what this is doing. 200 to 300,000 people die every year that we know of. So we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. Today I'm taking...
President Trump nailed it. Democrats used to say...
Nice people, the Democrats and others, the radical left, used to say that the people they're allowing into our country, immigrants, are nice people. They're not violent like our people. Well, they make our people look like babies. These are some of the most violent criminals anywhere on earth. From many countries, not just Venezuela. Venezuela emptied their jails into our country. But others have also. The Congo has. So many other countries have. And we don't put up with it. I have to say the drugs coming in by sea are down 94%. Democrats and others, the radical.
Let's keep going through what we have here. Tom Homan destroy. Oh, we got. Wait. These are always fun to watch. Boom! Bye-bye. This is U.S. Southern Command. Damn! Look at that fireball. Oh, we got color. Holy cow! At the direction of Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Joint Task Force Southern Spirit conducted lethal kinetic strikes on 3 vessels operated by designated terrorist organizations in international waters. Intelligence confirmed the vessels were transiting along known trafficking routes. Bye-bye. Say hi to David Jones. Here's Tom Homan.
Crap. I want to make something perfectly clear, because we get attacked all the time being inhumane. The Biden administration is much more humane. It's a bunch of crap. Because there's been studies done that 31% of women that make that journey through the cartels get sexually assaulted. They get raped. And not just the women, children too. I've done numerous investigations in that. Sex trafficking was at historic highs with that open border. Fentanyl, historic highs that killed 250,000 Americans. No inspector terrorists that came across the border. Record, historic. What happened under the Biden administration was the most inhumane thing I've seen in my lifetime. Now that the border is 96% decline, 96% less people are coming, how many women aren't being raped? How many children aren't dying making that journey? How many women and children aren't being sex trafficked into this country every day? How many known suspected terrorists aren't just walking across that border? President Trump and this administration is saving thousands of lives every month. Hard stop. That's just a stone cold fact. I'm just proud to be a part of this. I work with Steve Miller every day. Steve Miller is one of the most brilliant people I've met in my entire life. President Trump brought together one hell of a team here, and the success proves. We all working together, one team, one fight. We're not done yet. We're going to keep going, and I guarantee you we're going to continue saving thousands and thousands of lives. Secure border means strong national security. Secure border saves lives.
The cartel shield is breaking. The enforcement state is reasserting itself. And the people who spent years telling you nothing could be done are being exposed as collaborators, obstructionists, or cowards. President Trump didn't sugarcoat it. He called these invaders some of the most violent criminals on earth. Now he's backing it up with force. The strikes happened. The executive order signed. Fentanyl now a weapon of mass destruction. And the war to dismantle the narco-terror economy has officially gone kinetic. There is no going back. So what you just witnessed is the full-scale collapse of the global drug state protection racket. The masks are off, the excuses are gone, and the United States is finally acting like it's under attack, because it is. For years, the political class enabled the cartels. The border was the delivery mechanism. The poison flowed. American families buried their children, and Washington shrugged. Not anymore. 8 more narco-terrorists dead. Military strikes authorized. Fentanyl, a weapon of mass destruction. And House Democrats respond by demanding our troops stand down. Think about that. They're not even hiding it anymore. They're openly running interference for narco-terrorists while American kids die from poisoned pills. The cartel war has begun, and now we know exactly who's on which side, because President Trump drew the line. The military crossed it, and the cartels just learned that America fights back. So here's my question for the comment section. Should Democrats who obstruct cartel enforcement be investigated? Maybe they're connected to it somehow. Maybe check their bank accounts. Drop a yes or no. And while you're there, check out our merch shop and support our work. It's linked below. All right. No more super chats. We're at $41.99. And we are moving right along unless somebody has a super chat to drop. All right. Experts. Let's see here. All right. They told you. Oh, wait, Brian. I'm sorry. Waiting for you. Oh, we're good? All right. They told you it couldn't be done. They told you that tariffs would crash the economy. They told you inflation would never ease. Transitory. They told you that Trump's agenda was a fantasy. Well, now the numbers are in, and the same experts are now speechless. November jobs crushed expectations. Gas prices are at 20-year lows. The deficit down $600 billion. Wages are finally beating inflation, and factories are flooding back to American soil. The American comeback they swore was impossible is happening right now, and the old narratives are collapsing in real time. And here's what this means for you and your family. Under Biden, the auto pen president, real purchasing power dropped by about $3,000 per household. Families were drowning. Groceries, gas, rent, everything bleeding them dry. Well, now that trend is finally reversed. Kevin Hassett confirming that purchasing power is up roughly $1,200 per family in just this year alone. In Pennsylvania, thanks to the working families tax cut, a family of four is seeing between $7,000 and $11,000 more in take-home pay. Okay, that's not a talking point. That's like mortgage money. That's grocery money. That's tuition money. Gas prices adjusted for inflation, the lowest in 2 decades outside of the brief COVID blip. Secretary Wright confirming it. Pro-energy policies are delivering immediate results at the pump. Drivers in Arizona are filling up for $30 heading into the holidays. And the trade deficit, cut in half. The budget deficit tracking $600 billion lower than last year. This is not engineered recovery. This is not accidental growth. And some breaking news for your health and your holiday gift list this year. You see, every year we scramble for the right Christmas gifts, and half of the time we give people things that they don't even want. Well, this year I found something useful, and it's pretty high-end. It's the C60 Evo Holiday Gift Set. 40% off when you grab 6 bundles. Each bundle includes their advanced facial serum. It's like youth in a bottle. I use it every day. Plus, it's got their breakthrough C60 Evo oil. This olive oil. Don't make me open it up. I'll drink the whole thing. This helps with energy, mental clarity, faster recovery, and fighting inflammation. You keep a couple sets for yourself. Give the rest to family and friends. You see, these are premium gifts that people actually get excited about. Now, this offer is not on their website. It's only for the Next News family. Go to c60evo.com/NNN and grab the 6-set bundle at 40% off before they are gone. I drink this every single morning. Make sure you do too. Now, here's where it gets even bigger. The fair trade agenda has pulled in over $18 trillion from outside investors who want to build in America. Not outsource, not offshore. They want to build here. Kelly Loeffler confirmed that money flows directly to small businesses. That's the backbone. representing 98% of U.S. manufacturing. President Trump declared that when these factories and plants open by the thousands, America will enter an age unlike anything this country has ever seen. Arkansas farmers already feeling it. Payments that weren't supposed to arrive until October of 26 are now being moved up. Why? Because they're being funded by tariff revenue. One farmer was like, hey, that's income that you can show the bank. And that's how you get to farm another year. Check it out. Here's the jobs report. Experts speechless again.
Just released moments ago, the U.S. adding 64,000 jobs last month, which is better than the forecast of 50,000. Just released moments ago, the U.S. adding 64,000 jobs last month.
Higher than expected. Check this out. Here's more on that.
Released moments ago, the U.S. adding 64,000 jobs last month, which is better than the forecast of 50,000. The unemployment rate also jumped more than expected to 4.6%. This is the highest since September 2021. This data was delayed due to the government shutdown.
Wow. Kelly Loeffler, the fair trade agenda has brought over $18 trillion from outside investors who want to build in this country. That will flow directly to small businesses. More American jobs. Here's President Trump talking about when the factories open. God bless him! Oh, America, the Renaissance is here. Finally, somebody who freaking gets it. That's why we needed this guy who understands business, to surround himself with the right people to get the job done. Oh, every day I think, Jesus Christ, that he is in office, man.
Industry lost 58. We have a country that potentially is geared to have the most incredible golden years ever. We're going to have, it's the golden age. I say it's the golden age of America. When these factories and plants open up by the thousands, Toyota just announced they're going to spend $10 billion building plants to make Toyotas. So they're coming from Germany, they're coming from Japan, they're coming from Canada. Many factories are coming in because they don't want to pay tariffs. Very simple. They're coming in and they're spending they're spending hundreds of billions of dollars. Our car industry lost 58% of their capacity over the years. They went to Europe, they went to Mexico, Japan, they went all over. They went to South Korea. And now it's just the opposite. They're all coming back. We have an age that's coming up, the likes of which I don't think this country has never seen. And I just look so forward to the results. You're going to see results in 6 months to a year. I think you'll see results. We've never had anything like it. We have a country that potentially is geared.
We're seeing results, Mr. President, and we like them. Arkansas farmer react. That's income you can show the bank
properly, and you can maximize the dollars you're getting back out of these payments. Then that's income that you can show the bank, and possibly get your loan prolonged instead of having to file a Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and you get to farm another year. I mean,
he also shared that he feels like farmers' voices are finally being heard.
Farmers' voices finally being heard again. Drivers in Arizona reacting to the dropping gas prices. Remember those stickers you saw on all the gas pumps? Joe Biden, I did that. Remember those? They were everywhere.
It's coming up, and I'm surprised. It's relieving.
We need new ones for President Trump that says, I did that, right? That's what we need.
Actually, because I'm surprised. It's relieving, actually, because prices in Washington are so high. So it's really nice to be able to fill up my tank with like $30.
Another local saying this Christmas miracle couldn't come at a better time.
Yeah, very happy, especially with the holidays coming up and the traveling, the expenses, it adds up. So low gas prices especially, it helps a lot, especially with the big family.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
It's a Christmas miracle, my friends. Here is the secretary on the economy.
The
Thanks to President Trump and the common sense did you write my speech? And the common sense policies of this administration, the golden age of America is on the horizon. Under Biden, workers lost over $2,900 in purchasing power as inflation rose faster than wages. But under Trump, inflation is coming down and real wages are back on track to increase by nearly $1,200 after his first full year in office. Trump's deregulatory efforts are saving $180 billion or $2,100 per family of four. And let's not forget the largest tax cut in American history. I was a former member of Congress, and I can tell you that was the biggest piece of legislation they will probably ever vote on in this lifetime. And it's for the support of the working family, the no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security. And thanks to the working family tax cuts, a family of four in the state of Pennsylvania will see $7,000 to $11,000 more in take-home pay. That is their money that they earned, and it should stay in their pockets. We're reversing Biden's cost of living disaster that hurt so many working families, dropping of drug prices, gas prices at the lowest in 4 years. Jobs are coming back online, and people are finally getting off the sideline. The labor participation rate is going up. We want more people to be looking for jobs and in the workforce. We just received the jobs numbers this morning. A positive 64,000 jobs were added under this administration. Here's a number to note that I think is very important, and I want you to remember this. And at your next rally, I want you to go say this. Under President Trump, 687,000 jobs have been in the private sector and have gone to native-born Americans.
Let's go, man. Here is the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance.
My grades weren't so good. I remember my grandmother in times like this of the holidays. Of course, I think a lot of us remember the loved ones that we've lost. I remember my dear Mamaw, that's what I called her. And I was in a particularly hard math class in high school. And she said, "What do you need to do well in this class?" My grades weren't so good. And she went out, even though she could not afford even the essentials in life, she went out and got me a calculator, a very expensive calculator, so that I could do well in this math class. I remember what it feels like for American families when you have the government take $3,000 out of your pocket through higher taxes and higher inflation. I know what it's like for a woman who's trying to support a grandson but can't afford her prescription drugs because pharmaceutical companies are taking advantage of the United States of America. I remember what it's like when you have to choose between putting food on the table or getting the prescription that you need to stay healthy. And that is not a life that Donald Trump or I want for the citizens in the greatest country in the world. We want you. We want you to be able to afford the things that you have to give your kids and your grandkids a good life. We want you to check your credit card statement and for that to be an annoyance, something you got to do rather than something that causes a lot of stress and anxiety. We don't want a single parent or grandparent to have to look at their checking account and decide whether they're going to buy food or whether they're going to buy medicine this month. We are fighting for you every single day. And I don't want you to think for 1 second that because Joe Biden gave us the worst economy in the world that we forget it. No, we know. We know exactly what we were left with. We know exactly the consequences that it's caused for so many of our great families all across Pennsylvania. And I promise you, there is no person more impatient to solve the affordability crisis than Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States.
Yeah, baby.
I remember my grandmother in times like...
Guys, the November jobs report landed like a thunderclap. 64,000 jobs added when experts predicted 50,000. Unemployment, 4.6%. Not in recession, but an aggressive policy reset. More Americans working right now than any point in history. Wages outpacing inflation for the first time in years. Trump summing it up. The mess we inherited, right? Inflation neutralized, and the American worker working again. The model they sold, deindustrialization, dependency, debt, decline, all being replaced by growth, production, and national self-respect. So the economic comeback isn't coming, it's here. And the louder the denial gets, the clearer it becomes. The narrative's dead, the numbers are alive, and the American economy is roaring back whether the critics like it or not. 64,000 jobs added. Gas, 20-year lows. Deficit down 100 billion. Wages beating inflation. Factories returning. Investors flooding in. Farmers getting paid early. Families keeping more of what they earn. This is what happens when you put America first instead of apologizing for it. The establishment, they spent years telling you decline was inevitable. Managed decay was the best we could hope for. Outsourcing was progress. Dependency was compassion. They were wrong, or they were lying. Either way, the receipts are in. President Trump inherited a mess and turned it into a comeback story the experts swore was impossible. Here's my question for the comments. Are you better off now than you were under Biden? Yes or no? Very simple. And don't forget, hit the merch shop, linked in the description. So I want to share something with you that we didn't put in the show, but Tom was at the White House today. Got 11,000 people watching on the stream right now, which is remarkable. On X, just saw that actually, amazing. But I want to share something with you that we posted on X. Tom caught some footage that you'll never see anywhere. Okay? I'm going to show it to you now. Buckle up. It was caught on tape today. No recording, they said, while dozens of reporters hit record anyway. This was the White House press corps Christmas party. An insider room, no public attendance, and no filters. What follows is an unguarded mockery of President Trump and his administration. Proof of the bias Americans have been gaslit about for years. The mask is off. Now I'm going to show you. This is the event. These images show the setting where the audio was recorded. The White House press corps Christmas party held in the basement corridor after the briefing. You can see the posted party notice, the packed hallway, numerous attendees openly holding up phones and recording. This was not a private conversation. This was an insider press event on federal property with recording plainly visible throughout the room. Judge the images and listen to the words. Yeah, they said no recording. But clearly, everyone is recording. How many phones can you see? I can count. It looks like at least 3 in that shot alone. You want to see what they said? Buckle up. Here it is.
The government shows and big balls ruled, but $2 trillion in savings? No one was fooled. Mr. Trump set fire to DEI Transwoke, and USAID went up in smoke. Elon burned out and left on a junket. The romance was over. That was the best one. Yes. The government shut down for 43 days, but the pros at OMB remain unfazed. Essential, non-essential, once again the distinction to thousands more workers must vote for extinction. The Kennedy Center Board is now a goner as the place gets renamed after a That's a tortured rhyme, and I truly regret it. Old Greg Clunson would never have said it. 1 triple B passed both House and Senate. No tax on tips, turns out. Stephen Miller argued and quoted and yelled, but Aurelio Garcia just, Zelensky came, Vance pounced, so far out of bounds that Ukraine's Winston Churchill. You don't hold the cards, the president bellowed. But when he met Mamdani, strangely he mellowed. Gaza burned, geopolitics churned, and Witkoff worked the phone. Assad failed, Netanyahu prevailed, and the hostages finally. A summit with Putin, another with Xi, frank and productive, but nothing to see. 8 wars were solved, or was it 10? No matter, in Oslo, rejected again. Venezuelan drug boats were blown from the sky because extrajudicial killing always beats a fentanyl high. I'm going to do that one again. This is what you all were expecting. Hegseth hung in there, unlike Mike Waltz, after Signalgate emerged as both of their faults, knowing Jeffrey Goldberg, which is the much greater sin than opening commercial software and pouring non-foreign POTUS bombed Iran and the nuke program sank, and Nick Fuentes cried all the way to the bank. Worse than Jewish space lasers, and MTG's fate is to be forced to eat Terry Moran's hate. I'm going to do that one. Auto pens, bruised hands, what to believe? I'm sure we'll find out when Trump does the weave. Tish James and James Comey, they were let go while Paul Weiss and Skadden coughed up the dough. POTUS claims trillions in foreign investment, more fuzzy math for Secretary Bessent. Liberation Day came and free trade went, 100% tariffs on Easter and Lent. One day there's an East Wing, and one day there's not. The Rose Garden converted to a parking lot. The Oval is cluttered in tacky gold trim, makes Mar-a-Lago look Spartan and prim. At the lectern, Caroline, youthful and fair, wielded a battle axe live on the air. Brian Glenn and new media filled out the pool while AP Geography kept secrets. The big boss found it not at all taboo when Chung told Jane Mayer, STFU. Last, you'll be pleased. Last but not least, there's Jeffrey Epstein, a story so old it's almost 16. Merry Christmas to you all. That's the ticket. And may every day be another wonderful sequel. And big balls.
So that is what was recorded today. And it was a mockery of Trump. You heard them all laughing. If you want to see the act, we tried to pull a transcript from it. You can see it here. It's on our X account. You can go read it if you'd like. But just give you a little behind the scenes of what happens and how the mainstream press really, really thinks of you. It's pretty sick. But that's what it is. Now let's take. Oh, we do have a super chat here from Gen Xer. Council on American Islamic Relations was declared a terrorist organization. Now they're suing DeSantis. LOL. Now they have to open their books. Winning. Thank you for that. We're at $54.99 for our super chat total for tonight. Thank you guys for your support. And we all should welcome Richard Sellers as a new member of the Next News family. So let's take a step back and look at what we've just covered. The FBI's own Washington field office warned that there was no probable cause to raid Mar-a-Lago, and the Biden DOJ pushed forward anyway. Merrick Garland signed off on it personally. Senator Chuck Grassley released the documents, and now the whole country can see the receipts. That was not law enforcement. That was a political hit job executed against the sitting president's chief rival. The paper trail has caught up to them. In Milwaukee, a sitting judge is on trial for allegedly helping an illegal alien escape ICE agents inside her own courthouse. Judge Hannah Dugan faces up to 6 years in federal prison. The court's already stripped her immunity. The Trump DOJ drew a red line. Nobody's above the law, not politicians, not bureaucrats, and certainly not judges who think their robes make them untouchable. The MAHA movement delivered knockout blows across the board. 18 states banning junk food from SNAP. Walmart is purging artificial dyes from its shelves. Obamacare subsidies are dead. The food and healthcare cartel that poisoned Americans for profit finally cracking down under its own weight. Bobby Kennedy and President Trump are forcing a systemic reset the establishment swore would never happen. And the cartel war going kinetic. Secretary of War exit, ordering strikes on the narco-terrorist vessels. 8 traffickers dead, add them to the list. President Trump signing executive order classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. House Democrats responding by demanding our military stand down. Now we know exactly who's protecting the cartels, and it's not a mystery anymore. The economic comeback they said was impossible. It's here. 64,000 jobs added in November. Gas prices at 20-year lows. The deficit down $600 billion. Wages beating inflation. Factories coming home. The experts are speechless because the numbers destroyed their narrative. And we opened tonight talking about what happened on this exact date 252 years ago. December 16th, 1773, the Boston Tea Party. A group of American patriots who had finally had enough of a corrupt system, a rigged economy, and a ruling class that believed it was above the law. They dumped that tea into the harbor and lit the spark that became the American Revolution. Well, tonight, that spirit is alive. Americans are standing up against weaponized agencies, activist judges, poisoned food supplies, open borders, and economic sabotage. The tea is hitting the harbor again, and the establishment knows it. I want to thank everybody who sent in super chats tonight. Your support keeps the show going. Keep telling your friends about the Raw feed on the Next News Network. Check out our merch shop in the description. Every purchase helps us keep fighting. Thank you for joining us tonight on the Raw feed. I'm Gary Franchi, and we will see you all on the next show.
It's a place to be. Live show. Come along.